All rise. Please be seated. Good afternoon, and thank you to everyone joining us today for this celebration of life for Mark Christopher Wagner II. I am Dennis Russell, Chief of Police of the Wintergreen Police Department. I would like to begin by introducing those seated on the stage with me. To my right, the Honorable Glenn Youngkin, Governor of Virginia. Thank you so much, Governor, for taking the time to be a part of today's service. Sadly, I know this isn't your first line of duty death service to attend since taking office just last year. You've been a strong supporter of law enforcement from day one. We truly appreciate your continuing support. I'm also extremely privileged today to have with us the Honorable Winsome Earl Sears, our Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Thank you. And the Honorable Terry Cole, Virginia's new Secretary of Public Safety and Homeland Security. On behalf of the Wintergreen Police Department, the Wintergreen Homeowners Association and community, and Officer Wagner's family, I extend our heartfelt appreciation to each of you for traveling all the way from Richmond to help us pay tribute to Chris and his family, co-workers, and friends during this difficult time. Also joining us today, we have Virginia Delegate Chris Runyon, Virginia Delegate G. John Avely, Assistant Secretary of Public Safety and Homeland Security Sonny Daniels, and Virginia State Police Superintendent Colonel Gary Settle. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. And a sincere thank you to the law enforcement personnel from across Virginia and other states who've come to lend their support and pay homage to our fallen brother. To look out today of the crowd and witness the sea of uniforms and patches represented here today makes you take pause. It is a vivid and real reminder of how thick and strong the thin blue line truly is. It is also humbling to see so many from our Wintergreen community here with us today. The way our residents have rallied around us this past week has meant a great deal to me personally, and every one of us with the Wintergreen Police Department. Thank you for being here. Today, we pay tribute honor, and respect to Officer Chris Wagner. Chris was 31 years old, a graduate of the Central Shenandoah Criminal Justice Academy in May of 2019. Chris began his career with the Wintergreen Police Department on August 24, 2020. Chris specifically asked for the midnight shift, which is one of the hardest shifts to fill. He enjoyed the shift, and when he had to report for a day detail, you would catch him wearing the darkest tinted sunglasses imaginable. Chris and I used to joke about the fact that he was a vampire, working the night shift and hating the day. He would smile and agree. No one can ever plan for something like this to happen, but I learned that Chris and his father had talked about the possibilities. Every day before shift, Chris and his father, Mark, would share a hug and an "I love you." Chris had that knack for thinking forward, and we considered him an old soul, never asking for anything, but giving anyone everything. His kindness for others knew no bounds. For those of you who knew Chris, saw him as quirky. He would complain when all the pink starburst had been eaten out of the gate. He was fun to be around and share a laugh. Chris was well thought of. I hope I don't need that. Chris was well thought of and was a nice guy. Someone told me that after having met Chris, he thought that Chris would be remembered for his strength and dedication to protecting us all. That's who Chris was. On the night Chris paid the ultimate sacrifice for the community he swore to protect and serve, he walked into an unwinnable fight. A drug-fueled demon lay in wait and ambushed him. Chris could have easily waited for help, but that was not Chris. He fought the good fight, and knowing Chris, I truly believe that he would be saying, "It's okay, you caught the bastard." Leo Biscaglia once wrote, "I know for certain that we never lose the people we love. Even to death, they continue to participate in every act, thought, and decision we make. Their love leaves us an indelible imprint on our memories. We find comfort in knowing that our lives have been enriched by having shared their love." At this time, I'd like to introduce the father of our fallen hero. Since that fateful night, Mark and I have reminisced about our memories of Chris. As we talked, I realized just how much the father and his son were similar. Mannerisms, words, utterances made it clear to me that the bond between the two was strong. Mark joked that he did not know who the teacher was, but they definitely were connected. Mark, please join me on stage so others can hear your thoughts on Chris.
Just going to fix the microphone.
Okay. Thank you.
Are we good?
Try it a little bit closer.
Are we good? Everybody hear me okay? Thank you. Thanks for the intro. Appreciate it. Hi. Despite the circumstances, it's really awesome to see and meet all of you. Chris would have been shocked at a tenth of this, and a tenth of the support and the outpouring of love. He would have been shocked, and then he would have been humbled, and he would have been grateful, and then he'd been shocked all over again, because that was Chris. And he loved the job. He knew the job. He understood it. And yeah, he and I talked about it a lot in the capacities that he could. But mostly we just talked about normal stuff. And I think that's part of what makes it easier for his family, and especially for me and Jen. He always got a hug. He always got that goodbye, have a good shift, see you in the daylight. That was no different on his last trip. We spent the few minutes on the porch talking about Lord of the Rings, the movies versus the books, and why Christopher Lee is awesome no matter what. But that was typical of us. That was just the nature of our relationship, was friends. Friends who knew each other like his family in blue, which he was exceedingly proud to be a part of. And he told me that he was so grateful to be a part of it. So, yeah, it's rough that we're all here and we're all together in this pain. But everything's still spinning. We all have the same things we had to do before this terrible thing happened. We got more things to do. Get to them. One step at a time, one thing at a time. That's how we'll all get through this. So let's get to it. All right? Chris would not want anybody to spend any more time than they have to thinking on the whole thing. Not a bit. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to encourage everybody around me to do. And I'm going to do it because that's what he would want. He was a great son, a decent person, and a respectable cop. What else do I have to say about him? I could spend all day. Most of y'all that knew him, all the stories we can share. And I'll say it. If anyone has a question, bring it. If y'all have a memory you want to share, absolutely do it. Do not hold things back. And anyone who is a family member to anyone who wears the uniform, puts on the badge, remember, make sure they know they're appreciated. Make sure you understand that job. Nobody wants to be where we are right now. And yet they're still wearing the uniform. They're still going and doing the job, no matter if it's first responders or anything. So appreciate him. That's what he'd want. I got his back like always. Thank y'all.
Love you. Thank you, Mark. It is my honor to introduce our next speaker, the Honorable Glenn Youngkin, Virginia's 74th governor. Governor Youngkin was born in Richmond, raised in Virginia Beach. After earning an engineering degree at Rice University and his MBA at Harvard Business School, Governor Youngkin and his wife Suzanne moved to Northern Virginia. For 25 years, Governor Youngkin was instrumental in growing the Carlisle Group's stature globally, while helping fund the retirements of teachers, police officers, and firefighters. He and Suzanne have been married for over 28 years and have 4 children. Again, it's an honor to introduce to you today Virginia's Governor, Glenn Youngkin. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Mark, thank you. Friends, we come together at these moments, and we often are searching for words to express the heaviness of our hearts. And we know that, as Chris's dad said, that he would be honored and humbled by this. I think when I look around this room and I see the extraordinary men and women wearing a uniform like the chief, like Chris's dad, Mark, we are so appreciative of everything you do. And thank you for being here today, because it is with heavy hearts that we gather here. Mark and Jenny and to Chris's grandparents, Philip and Emily, and to the entire family that is gathered today, these words seem almost shy of everything I know we are feeling. I am so sorry. Your loss is unimaginable. And to you and all of Chris's friends that are here, members of the Wintergreen Police Department, the Wintergreen community, thank you for allowing me the great privilege of honoring Chris's life and legacy today. On behalf of the Commonwealth of Virginia, I extend my deepest condolences. There simply are no words which can adequately honor Chris's memory. See, what we've heard this morning is that Chris was a light. He was a bright light, a son to a loving father whose life was taken far too soon. From every corner of the Commonwealth, fellow brothers and sisters in law enforcement have come here knowing that it could have been them that we were memorializing today. The call to serve and protect requires a spirit that is so immense, a spirit like Chris had, that you were willing to lay down your life in selfless service. This is a call that not many have heard, and even fewer will answer. A call to face danger, a call to face down evil, because the call to protect is even greater. These are men and women who wake up at night or sometimes in the daytime to put on the uniform with a sense of duty, say, "I love you" to your family, and walk out the front door not knowing what's ahead. All of you wear the badge with pride. You engage fully with your communities. You sacrifice your own comfort and peace of mind so that our families and our communities don't have to. You extend a helping hand to everyone who's in need. Hearts are breaking today. And your hearts, as they break, like mine does, when a life and a potential are lost at the hands of evil. See, all of you, the men and women who wear the badge every day, are true professionals. And yet, cracking a smile occasionally, like Chris did, projects a light of hope. And that is such a part of the job that you do every day, and the job, of course, that Chris did. When I see a law enforcement hero, I'm reminded of this. We all are. We thank you. We thank Chris. That's what makes today's gathering so full of deep sorrow. In a world where it is easy to take for granted our peace of mind, we are reminded today that indeed that peace of mind exists because of individuals like Chris, individuals like all of you. true heroes. You see, a hero answers that call. A hero may seem ordinary, but does extraordinary things. A hero, a son, a daughter, a father, a mother, a sister, or a brother, loves their community. A hero loves the world deeply in a way that we can all feel. It's palpable. A hero works the night shift when everyone else is sleeping. A hero demonstrates the greatest love of all, a willingness to lay down one's life for a friend. A hero is like Chris. He was a great police officer by any standard. I spoke to the chief last week, and it's the first thing he told me. He was a great police officer. Before joining Wintergreen, he served honorably with the Massanutten Police Department for 7 years, beginning as a gate attendant. And then later, of course, as we've heard from the chief, he attended Central Shenandoah Criminal Justice Academy and pursued a dream that he well understood. He was the type to ask for and work the midnight shift, as you've heard. And when daylight came, he'd put on those sunglasses. And Mark, I understand that you often referred to him as Batman. When the call came, not just to devote his life to this noble profession, but to face danger in order to serve and protect, he did. And he did it because he was a true hero. Chris also loved the outdoors and enjoyed taking photographs. He had a special gift for capturing the beauty around him, loving his family and his friends. He was a light of hope for good in a world where evil exists. In return, Chris was loved and respected and cherished by this community, his colleagues, his friends, his family. And today, he's mourned by the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. Life is of infinite worth. Chris laid down his life so that others might live. There's nothing more profound, no greater expression of love, and no words more bittersweet and heartbreaking than those I just uttered. They humble me. They humble all of us. They make us all recommit to support these extraordinary men and women, these heroes who go to work every day to keep us safe. Chris's legacy will live on through the people that he protected and he served. Because of him, they will pursue their dreams. And because of Chris's values, the Wintergreen community is stronger. Because of Chris, the very nature of good is defined for all of us. And when the world seems dark, on a day like today, his light will be remembered. May we never forget his sacrifice. May we never forget the sacrifices that are made each and every day by the extraordinary heroes in law enforcement and their families every single day. To Chris's family and on behalf of the Commonwealth, we hold you in our hearts today. And while words cannot relieve the depth of your grief, please know that we all walk alongside you. For us all, may knowing that life is but the blink of an eye give us meaning as we go about our days. May we love our friends. May we love our families. May we love our communities like Chris did. And I ask you all, do it in honor of him and his sacrifice. Thank you. And may God bless you in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Thank you, Governor Youngkin. Before we leave today, I'm going to try to share some final thoughts. Be strong. Chris would be humbled by the service, the words spoken, and the outpouring of love from everyone. Chris would have scoffed at the fact that he showed courage and bravery in the face of danger. Chris would say he did what he did because it was the right thing to do. Chris was a courageous person. He showed extreme bravery without thought for himself, but to protect the weak. Chris knew what he was getting into, and he undertook the task exercising moral courage to stop the evil that he was confronted with. Chris knew the risks, and he made the conscious decision to do something anyway. This is who Chris was. Chris is and will always be a hero. A hero never dies but lives on in our memories. I believe that we are all better having known you, laughed with you, and loved you. Thank you, Chris, for being you. That concludes the service. I would ask that you please remain seated until you are dismissed. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you. Thank you. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Bless you.
Thanks for watching the ABC 13 YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos and live coverage and local stories, click to subscribe and download our ABC 13 News app.